Hey everybody, I'm Gary and this is Physical Format Rock and Roll. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you can probably see, I am back from vacation. There's not a beach behind me or anything like that. I am back at my house and back to normal life, right? I had a great time out there in California. Got to visit my oldest son and his wife and their dog. And got to go to some different places. Wife and I got to go to some really great beaches. I got to go to Hollywood, a few different spots. I had a lot of fun. It was a great time. Now it's back to the real world, as they say. So that always kind of sucks when you're back from vacation and boom, you got to go right into it and everything. But one thing that made it a little bit nicer was my friend Angel from over at Angel's Vinyl World sent me this. Dokken, back for the attack. He saw that recently in one of my vinyl finds, I had shown the Dokken Under Lock and Key album that I had gotten on vinyl, and we mentioned something about Back for the Attack. I said I didn't have that on vinyl. He said he had a spare copy. He was nice enough to send it to me. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Angel because I know he comments on my videos a lot. He comments on other people's. He does have a channel, Angel's Vinyl World. He doesn't make videos per se. He shows like some concert videos and whatever, but he is highly active in a vinyl community with a lot of knowledge. He has a lot of great comments, and you can tell he has a good musical background. So thank you very much, Angel, for sending this copy to me. This was very hard for me to find, so very grateful for that. Anyway, I wanted to talk just a little bit about this album since I got it. This would be my second favorite Dokken album. Under Lock and Key is actually my favorite, but this is close. I really like this album. They released this in November of 1987. This ended up being their biggest selling album, actually. So it was a success. They got a good spot on Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation tour. They were the special guest on that tour, so they were hitting a big audience. The idea when they went into the studio for this was to try to make a little bit more of a mature sounding album. I don't know if I would call it more mature, but it definitely has some more serious tones to it than some of their other albums. The idea, they knew that they were a better band than like Poison or Motley Crue, and they just kind of wanted to separate themselves a little bit from that. These guys were a very talented band. You had Don Dokken on vocals, great singer and songwriter. I know he's not too great of a singer these days, but at that time he still was. Mick Brown, terrific drummer. Jeff Pilson, a great bass player, a great songwriter. He's basically like the Michael Anthony also of this band with his backing vocals. Terrific backing vocals, great singer in his own right. And then, of course, you had George Lynch, one of the best guitar players in that whole time period. He was already, by the time this album came out, he was one of the hot guitar players of the time. And this only helped solidify his status on that. Opening up with songs like Kiss of Death was a fantastic album a fantastic song, where he's using those pinch harmonics that he was so good at. Dawn sounds good. Everybody sounds good on that song. What a terrific opening track, Kiss of Death. One of their heaviest songs. The whole album itself is pretty good. It's got a couple of songs that are just, maybe pedestrian on it. But for the most part, this is a pretty solid album. I am trying to see some of the titles here. Prisoner, Night by Night, Standing in the Shadows. That's a great song. I love that one. Heaven Sent was a single off of this, did pretty well. Mr. Scary is an instrumental that George takes lead on. And man, I tell you what, that's actually one of my favorite songs on this album. It is a terrific instrumental. And if you have never heard Mr. Scary by Dokken, definitely go check that out. George usually plays that even when he's playing solo, when he's doing Lynch Mob stuff. So Many Tears, Burning Like a Flame was another single. That's, more of a kind of a pop type song. Lost Behind a Wall, Stop Fighting Love, another more kind of pop sounding song. Cry of the Gypsy, another really terrific and strong song. Sleepless Nights is also. And then, of course, they ended with Dream Warriors, which was a single. Dream Warriors had already been done. That was, I believe, recorded during the Under Lock and Key recording sessions. And it was released, of course, with one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies with Freddy Krueger. That was the title track in it. Great song. I love that song, Dream Warriors. That's also one of the stronger songs on here, even though it was previously recorded. This, unfortunately, would be Dokken's last studio album of the classic lineup until, I believe, 1995, when they did Dysfunctional. They broke up. They didn't have an easy time recording this album. There was a lot of tension within the band when they were recording it as far as the direction that they should be taking. A lot of arguments during this time. A lot of arguments when they were touring. So they called it a day after this. But eventually they got back together. They did done a few reunions and whatnot. But they got back together in the mid-90s and made a few albums before George left, and then Jeff ended up leaving after that. But they still did some great stuff. But this is definitely a strong album. And if you have never heard this album by Dokken, I would recommend it. It's a terrific album, a lot of good guitar work, a lot of good vocals. Don still has a very strong voice at this time, and he does a lot of really fantastic singing on this album. So, Dokken, Back for the Attack from 1987. Once again, thank you, Angel, for sending me this. Very kind of you. I greatly appreciate it because I love this album. So anyway, just wanted to talk about that album for a little bit. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. And until the next time, my friends, I will see you down the road.